About that the New Jersey groundhog died the day before Groundhog Day. Yeah.
Oh,
I was like, oh, he said, I'm not doing this anymore.
no.
Definitely go back and watch Punxsutawney Phil and Groundhog Day. One of my favorite movies.
Mm-hmm.
But this day is here. We're so glad it's here. The anticipation is over. Like Will said, he was, early this morning. We were all around our TVs, on the phones, texting each other. Did you see it? Did you know what it is? We did kind of know because, Theismann had the interview and there is a lot of reports on Twitter and all this stuff. So we knew what it was. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, there it is. The Washington Commanders. Will, what was your initial reaction, man?
So I'm gonna go. I'll give you my positives. Then I'll let you talk. Then I'll give you some of the negatives that I thought of it. But I'll say this: they let us down a couple weeks ago to let us know that it wasn't going to be Wolves, and so we knew what we were kind of getting into, and it just seemed natural that Commanders would be next. We kind of had an idea. I think they hit a home run with this name of the franchise. I think Commanders fits the DMV so well.
Yes.
If you look at what is the DMV, what brings people to this area, because it's a mix of people from all over the place. It's the government, it's politics, it's the military, whether it's the armed forces or the contractors or working in the intelligence. It's with the symbolism that we have between our monuments, the Capitol, the White House, the Pentagon, Langley, the forts. It's also the symbolism. If you look around Tyson's Corner, Reston, you want to know how they got built? Go look at buildings that have the American flag flying right in front of them. Those folks, Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, they're defense contractors. Everything is tied together to the government, in this area. And that, government leading decisions, it comes back to Commanders. And so I think from a standpoint of if you wanted to capture what is DMV, they did. Let's think about the other teams that are similar. The Pittsburgh Steelers, the San Francisco 49ers, the Green Bay Packers. It goes to the history of the area.
Yeah.
And so I think from that standpoint, when they said this was our mission, this was our goal, they nailed it.
Yeah.
I love the burgundy jerseys. I really felt that they freshened them up. When Martin Mayhew opened it in that preview they gave, and he said, wow, this is clean. He was right. They look good, you know? And then finally for me, what I really liked was no more numbers on the helmets. It drove me nuts. Not having a stripe down the helmet, it drove me nuts. I couldn't take it anymore. So those were my positives. I'll let you go, and then I've got some things that need some improvement.
Right. Okay, good. All right. So I'll leave my negatives for later too. Positives is like we've been talking about, we're here. We are finally here. I'm glad that we're no longer in question of what the name is. We kind of got to the place where we were okay with football team, but at the end of the day, we wanted something permanent. And like you said, Commanders ties into everything in the DC area, in the DMV. It really kind of brings it all together and brings it home. And, I'm not going to lie. One of the first things I saw the hashtag of HTCC, which was interesting. But then I saw the other hashtag that said take command. We can use that. We can use that anywhere. We're commanding this division. We're commanding this conference. We're commanding the league. We can use that and go with it. So I like that. I like that. As far as the burgundy jersey, yes, I do like that. I like the burgundy jersey. I mean, especially because the first shot I had was on McLaurin, and I was like, okay, this works. This absolutely works. And then I'm gonna go to you on the other side of reaction because
we got some work to do.
We do. We absolutely do. So. What's your negative views of this?
Well, and Jason Wright, I know you watch the show. Please turn up the volume, okay? I'm going to give you some advice here that's going to help some things. So what I didn't like, first from the W.
Yeah.
It's very, very similar to what they had with Washington football team. I didn't like that one, and I don't like this. You could sort of tell, and because that did leak, about a couple weeks ago. that it appeared to have some military symbolism behind it. It kind of looked like sleek, like steel. Like I started thinking of like an armor look to it that you may see in tanks and helicopters and planes and stuff. And they have admitted that it's supposed to be slanted for some military rankings and honors, which I'm not very versed in. But I don't like it. It kind of just is jumbled together. And I was really looking at this as like, I don't care what the nickname is, Commanders, Armada, Brigade. 10 years from now, it's going to be nothing to us. Commanders is going to be second nature. But the Washington part and the W is going to be what's the big change as well from Redskins. And I thought of like two colleges that have really nice looking W's on their helmets and in their logos is Wisconsin Badgers and Washington Huskies. Yep. And I was looking for something like that where you could look and say, that looks sweet. That's a nice looking W. You can put that on the breastplate of your shirt or your hat, and it's going to look good. And ours looks clunky. It looks heavy, you know. So yeah. I don't like, and some of it needs to be outlined a little bit, you know. And some of the jersey stuff, it's just a solid yellow W or gold W. It needs some outlines to like make it pop. So that I didn't like that. The white jersey with the red lettering on it. Maybe it's the camera angles, the pictures. I can't imagine that they didn't have the same burgundy color from red from the home jerseys to the away, but it looks very red. And I don't like the transitioning that it's making to black in the home jersey or the away jersey that Chase was wearing. I think they need to be more burgundy and gold. And fans have come up with mocks that improved it. They're like, y'all need to do this. Right. They look better. They look solid. They look great. And then the black jersey, like I think we were so excited for that. They just look like the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like we got black, we got yellow, and that's what we got. And it's just weird just seeing the W on like the forehead of the helmet it's just, so that was a disappointment. That was a major letdown. The other thing I thought was kind of really surprising, that crest that they made, the patch, they put the years that we won the Super Bowl, not the seasons. So they put 1992 on it because we won it in 92, but it was the 91 season. You know, you don't refer to them as the 86 Bears that won the Super Bowl. It's the 85 Bears with their defense. So I don't understand what that is. And then the last one is, I don't know how you shorten Commanders right now. You've got the Nats, you've got the Caps, and people are having a field day with it because they're like, cool, you went from Redskins to Commies. Now you offend us still. Like, so they got some work to do to kind of let us know where we're going from here. The good thing I will say about all these things that I'm critiquing, they're all fixable.
Right.
You know, Commanders isn't going anywhere. But you can change the lettering. Uniforms change every couple of years. You know, they could alter the crest now that they find out people are saying, yo, what are you doing? So all of it's fixable if they're willing to. What did you see? I bet it's a lot of the same.
Yeah, if they're willing to is that's on point. Honestly, yes. I mean, I talked to you about it in the group chat early this morning. I think the jerseys, the white jerseys with the red, I think we're the new Arizona Cardinals. Oh, wait, we already have the Arizona Cardinals. And then this one that's in the background, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's like burgundy and gold is kind of what brings us together. I mean, we talk about Washington and Redskins and the combination, but even with the football team, it was still burgundy and gold. That's what brings us all in here. And so to leave that out and kind of make these jerseys so similar to other teams, and like you said, that little W right there, I don't know, it just seems like with all, I kind of echo the sentiments of a lot of people that said with all this time that you had, and you have these people we talked about that were doing mock-ups like the day of that are so much better, it's like, it does appear lazy. I cannot go away from that because that first jersey we have, I love it. I think that is great. It kind of keeps the line while with what we have, it still keeps the Commanders part of it. But these other two are really kind of like, wow, like I really think of other teams. Like even the red one made me think of like maybe I don't know. I don't think Arkansas has it, but maybe a college team that has more of that. Well, one of my buddies from the other show, Sydney, said it looks like the Arizona State. Their white jerseys, and it's kind of like we could have done better than this, guys. Like all this money, all this time, we really should have done better, especially with the fan base that we have. It's so hungry for something that we can just jump onto. I mean, you know what I mean? It's already past the fact that we can't howl, and it's not the Red Wolves, and that's fine if you don't want to do that. But the Commanders, I can get with Commanders, but all this extra, come on, guys. The reveal was interesting to me. Obviously, my guy Doug Williams was there with Jonathan Allen and Jason Wright, and I just thought that the reveal was kind of anticlimactic, maybe, because we had so much else that they had brought out. Obviously, we knew it was all leaked. We kind of knew what it was. You and I have talked about it way back and forth in the season. That was one of those where we were like, compared to the other ones, we can live with this. Commanders is okay, that's fine. But it was just weird, just the way that they were sitting down on the field. And I'm not gonna lie, maybe I don't know if you got this, but I kind of got this feel like Doug Williams was like, well, I'm gonna sit up here because y'all have me up here, but I'm a Super Bowl MVP for the Redskins. You know what I mean? And at one point, they were saying, what do you feel? And he was like, hey, he put his hand over Jonathan Allen and was like, we're the Commanders, and it was just like kind of like he was trying to deflect, because to me it seemed like he wasn't really relating or diving into that. So that to me was really interesting. But then at the end of the day, we are where we are. I'm mad that it took this long to produce something that I felt like could have put a little bit more effort into. But I all in all, let's move forward.
Yeah. Well, you said it perfectly. In the 2 years that they've been working on this, and they've been talking about how much they've been working on it, we anticipated the reveal being a lot more buttoned up.
Yeah.
It kind of seemed like they were just sort of winging it, a little bit up there. If you saw like the press conference, I think they had, you could hear Julie, the MC, talking to them, telling them where to go, and the Snyder sitting there taking pictures by it was just awkward. Like, y'all got to recognize what Dan's strengths are, and being out in the public is not his strength, and he knows that. So he just wants to say his little bit and let him go sit down in the front row and watch everything. Don't parade him out here like other charismatic owners can, because that's not Snyder, and so like it's like you got to know your people. And look, you're right. I mean,
different to you. I mean, no glasses and the kind of the beard.
Oh yeah, he's made a transformation this year. It's kind of interesting. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think you're right about Doug Williams, and I think he's still employed by the team. And I was watching that too, and it's like Doug Williams, he's a company man.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to say he's not going to ruffle any feathers because he's still with the team and doing things. But right, it's like you could kind of see he's like, you all are the Commanders.
Not my team.
Right.
Hey, shout out to the catch, man. I would have been fine with watching the football team too. At this particular point, I mean, we can say in the first year of watching the football team, we swept Dallas. I can run with that. Would have been fine. But for them to put out this, it's like we've been saying. It's like y'all could have come up with something better, because at least with the Washington football team, we kind of kept it the same color scheme, and that's where I'm coming from. I
got tired of the jokes of the football team, so I'm glad we have a nickname. But no, I really anticipated the jerseys to be like, especially when they did the reveal and said, oh, these are fresh. I thought all three of them were going to look sweet, and they're disappointing.
Yeah, and let me ask you this: you sent me on the little Twitter thing of the hype video. Were you surprised that they sang the "Hail to the Redskins" in there?
So yes, so I've got like the little segment I was going to say moving forward a little bit about it, but yes, so I was very surprised. This is the first time since we got rid of the name they've sung "Hail to the Redskins." They've said the word Redskins. They've allowed for more imagery of not just fans hiding things, but players of the goalposts that said Redskins. Like they recognized it. But I will say this: I was listening to Jason talk during the press conference, and he kept saying the old logo. That when we were the old, the other the other name or our previous name. And that still bothers me because I think now that we're here, we are the Commanders moving forward, but we are the Redskins looking back. And I don't like in the crest where they talk about, and I hate it in the Washington football team established in 1932 because I'm like, your Commanders is something new. It's like the Houston Texans and the Houston Oilers. They're two separate things. And I think we need to acknowledge it. Like, I want the team to recognize, if Joe Jacoby gets into the Hall of Fame or Brian Mitchell gets in the Hall of Fame in the next couple of years, they should not be nominated and introduced as a Washington Commander because they didn't play for them. And there's already jerseys up. They've got John Riggins and Sean Taylor's jerseys up with the new Commanders stuff. They didn't play for them. You cannot bridge this. It needs to be a clean break and you're moving forward. And as a result of it, when you're going to talk about some of these guys, it's okay to say the name Redskins, in my opinion. You're being factual. It's like when we talk about Robert E. Lee was the leader of the Confederate Army.
Factual.
Right. You're keeping it to that. You're not putting opinions, not talking about what else is about it. But players, the 1991 team is the Redskins. You can say that. And you can say, we are the Commanders now. That's okay.
Right.
Yeah. Now, there was one thing. Yeah, those are beautiful. Those are beautiful.
You know what it is. Come on now.
Now, this is going to brighten your day, okay? So Jason Wright went on a couple different interviews afterwards. And he said, this is just the start. We're going to do a couple extra things. And he said in his press conference, and he elaborated on it a few other times, was that because some of the next things we're going to do is we're going to start looking into the fight song. And he said, one of the things we saw with Commanders is it fits with some of the current lyrics. And so they asked him, so are you talking about rewriting the fight song or redoing it or doing something new? And he once again said, he said, well, there's lyrics in the fight song that we could use. Hail Victory and Fight for Old DC. He goes, we can use that stuff. So they said, are you going to rewrite it? Or would you say you're doing something new? He's like, I think we're rewriting it. So I'm going to tell you this, Sean. I don't care if the name's Commanders.
Yeah.
If I get a chance to sing with my sons of Washington, rah, rah, rah. I just got goosebumps right now. I'm good with Commanders. I don't care. They already came out and changed the hashtag to HTTC.
Yeah.
So some of the things that we as dorky 30-some-year-old fans say, I need the fight song. I need the hashtag. I need this stuff. This is going to bring. If we are singing Hail to the Commanders and you change the lyrics I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm with it. I still may not buy your hat.
No.
I may not like your W, but I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you have to. There has to be the connection. That's one of the reasons why burgundy and gold is so needed, because that is the connection. We have been named we are the burgundy and gold. That is what we represent. So that's why I kind of had an issue with some of the jerseys and things like that. But hearing that, yes, that definitely brings joy. Definitely brings joy to my heart, because we needed some kind of connection and some kind of something that's going to bring us back to that for us older fans. Because look, somebody was telling me the other day, in 10, 15 years, yes, we might, it might not be as fresh of a memory as the Redskins is to us right now. But at the same time, people like yourself and myself who are still buying Washington stuff, we need that connection, because, and let's be honest, unless they win a championship anytime soon, that was the glory years. Yeah. That's when we have the joy, and that's what we can relate to. The jersey, Doug Williams jersey I have, these Redskins shoes, that is a relation to the past. It's nothing negative toward, said community and this and that. It is our connection to the past, and we want to bring that connection into this team. If this Commanders, that's fine, but I love this fact that they're trying to bring that back. The Catch said, I agree with the fight song staying the same. Will be a huge for Washington fans outside the team name. Of course.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't believe they said it. I loved hearing that. Like, I mean, that's a dream come true. That's what I was hoping for. Is that you would say, let's rebrand them, but let's keep some of the stuff. Yeah, it kind of sounds like, everyone's kind of on the same page in this. A couple things saying, people thought it was going to be red something, and but they really thought they were going to keep their red out, and I think that's true. I think they wanted the clean break, and which is why we're not Warriors, which is why we're not Renegades. Commanders. It is the safest of some of the options, but again, like we've said, it fits. It makes sense.
It does.
I think I'll tell you this: if Ted Leonsis had done this and renamed the Wizards to Commanders and even had it red, white, and blue, I bet more people would be down with it.
Right.
I think it's just the fact that it's the Redskins that has. I mean, we're very critical of this. That is our football team. But I'm telling you, if the Bullets Wizards had renamed to Commanders, I bet people would be like, all right, yeah, makes sense.
I can rock with that. Right.
Right. Exactly.
There is that connection. Hold up, Nathan. So when we had Portis, McNabb, Moss, Taylor, those weren't good years. Those weren't Joe Theismann and the Fun Bunch, Doug Williams and Mark Rippon in the Posse years where we winning Super Bowls. That's what we're talking about.
They were a lot of this, Nathan. I think this is where it's like 2005 was great, 2007 was great, 04, 06, terrible. That type of stuff. And Donovan McNabb as a Redskin.
Yeah,
that's one of those funny jerseys you get. Just like buy a McNabb jersey and because you got Tress Way, that you could put on there. You pay $5 for the McNabb jersey.
Right. But that's what it is. Catch that growing up is going to Washington games. That fight song is one of the earliest football memories. Absolutely.
Perfect. Yes. Yeah. That's as silly as it is for like us, as grown men to be saying like of a pro football team, we're so attached to a fight song. But I would also say, tell me, Notre Dame Fighting Irish fans, if you had to remove that your song, or Michigan, if you had to redo that, Michigan fans, if you don't play Hail to the Victors, the only person in the world that's going to be happy that is Kat. Yeah. She would be having a field day of it, but they would be destroyed, So like that's that type of mentality.
Right, and that's the type of things we got to think about. But look, we know what it is. We're gonna go ahead and move on. Appreciate you guys watching us, Nathan and the Catch. Hey, we love that.
I love that guy.
Those were some good. Yeah. Those were nice years. Yeah. But we're talking about
consistency.
Yes, because that from
champions
from 82 to 91 season, because in 92 we got to the playoffs, we got to the divisional round. From that 10-year span, we were almost untouchable. And there was some great teams that we went up against. Those Giants, those Bears, the 49ers, a lot of great teams, the Eagles in the late 80s that we went up against, and we always Washington fight, parole, DC, crushing them, doing what we had to do. So yeah, not that those later years weren't great, but there's something about you, and this, Nathan, with the Ravens. There's something about getting a Super Bowl as opposed to, hey, we had a great season and made it to the second round of the playoffs. You don't remember those as much as you do the heyday.
It's why Joe Gibbs is the greatest football coach in NFL history. And as outstanding as Belichick is, Joe Gibbs did it with 3 different starting quarterbacks, and none of them before or after were really he was able to put together guys who fit his system and weren't these tremendously, they weren't Tom Brady, but, that type of stuff. Is Theismann in the Hall of Fame? I hate that I had to ask that. I don't know. Is he in the Hall of Fame?
Oh man,
he had a short career,
right? Because he was 5, but he was around. He was drafted in 72 by Miami, and then he went to but you know what? He was drafted in 72 by Miami, and he would have been the backup. He ended up going to, I believe, Canada and playing years, and then he came back in the late 70s, but George Allen was there, and George Allen didn't want to play. He liked his old guys. He didn't like to play young guys, so he made him like a punt returner or something like that. So most of his success for us came, when Gibbs got there.
Like, I just looked it up. He's not a Hall of Famer.
Really?
So, yeah. So, I mean, Joe Gibbs won 3 Super Bowls with 3 quarterbacks that not in the Hall of Fame, not in discussion.
Wow.
They ain't Eli Manning here where you had a lot of numbers and, and 2 Super Bowls, but you're not that good of a quarterback. That's what I mean. So that's the type of success we're looking for. Come on,
Wow.
Ron. Let's see this. I want to see division title after division title. Make us the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right.
Come on.
Right. Make us the Commanders. All right. Let us.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go. Let's go. Yo. So we are going to go ahead and move on, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being with us. Hey, and as we've talked about all year, we are